Corey, it's time for another baseball movie review. This time, a documentary called Fastball.
Fastball, 2016.
From 2016. So this is a little bit more recent from what we've been, the recent vintage. We've watched some movies that were like 8 years old or so, but this one feels a little more modern.
Right.
A lot of technology. Yeah, it's an HD. It's an Amazon Prime Video. We'll make sure we include a link. But this documentary called Fastball really focuses on the art of the fastball and the history of the sport.
Yeah, so interesting to me. The perfection that is baseball is put on display in this movie. About the precise distance between the pitching mound and home plate and what that entails for the batters and the base runners and all that stuff. Love the precision sort of aspect to this movie.
A lot of data and science works really well for you.
I know.
For a data scientist. One of the things that stood out to me is the amount of Hall of Famers in this, and not just pitchers, right? You kind of expect that. Hall of Fame pitchers, you expect Nolan Ryan to make an appearance in this, Bob Gibson to make an appearance in this, but it's also the Hall of Fame hitters who are made a living being great and being able to hit any pitch they saw, but even Hall of Fame hitters had the most feared pitcher, and they could name it right off the bat. Who was it? And sometimes they're also Hall of Famers, but also it could be just somebody who they never stood a chance with. Maybe just in their rookie year, somebody who's a flamethrower throwing 101 miles an hour.
And not necessarily even a good pitcher. Maybe just a wild pitcher that they were scared of getting hit. And that came across to me as an important aspect of being a baseball hitter, is the fear of being hit by the baseball. Plays a huge deal in that. So you're up there not only trying to guess where the ball's going, when it's going to be there with the speed, but also, am I going to get my head hit? And life ended by baseball. And that fear is always in the back of their minds. Every single hitter talked about that.
And don't think a guy like Goose Gossage doesn't realize that is an asset, that they don't have to be afraid when they're on the mound. The hitter needs to be afraid. Right. They should be concerned. And when Bob Gibson wants to control the plate in the World Series, half of that plate is his. You have to decide which half is yours.
That's my favorite part of the movie. Was it Nolan Ryan? Saying an 0-2 pitch is high and inside every time.
Every time. Right. Not only is he not going to throw a strike, it's in order to knock the batter down.
Knock him down on an 0-2 pitch. All right.
Well, that'll get you 26 years or whatever it was in the league, right? So when you're Nolan Ryan, and that's the thing, it took a while for Nolan Ryan to kind of make an appearance and be a showcase player in this documentary. But man, was it worth it, because he was a special anomaly. And you learn guys, Walter Johnson, the big train, Bob Gibson, Bob Feller, Nolan Ryan. In their eras, these guys were electric and special, and the people who had to face them, whether they were just the run-of-the-mill average major league player or a guy like Hank Aaron, there was a fear of a fastball pitcher.
So what's really interesting about that is the measurement of the fastball. Early in the film, the older guys, they didn't have radar back then.
No.
And so they measured it against motorcycles and other apparatus. And then, as I think Nolan Ryan was the first one to get it measured by
a radar.
Infrared.
Yeah.
Radar. I guess that's radar.
Yeah. The early 1970s. That was when he was playing for the California Angels.
Right. And so that they have to make the adjustment of these early measurements, because right now a ball is measured, a fastball is measured off the 10 feet off the mound, right? But back then it was different. So
different places, like once it goes through an apparatus that's behind home plate, there was no exact measurement for such things, and to be able to finally put some sort of calculation on a Walter Johnson fastball in the 1920s, I believe, or Bob Feller in the 1940s. Whatever they could do, they would racing against a policeman on a motorcycle, on an Indian motorcycle. That was the measurement. You went with that.
Yeah. So we come up with who threw the fastest fastball ever, and you'll have to watch the movie.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. You're able to find that out, right?
Yeah, so they adjust, the speeds of the older ones, and the Carnegie Mellon scientists make all these adjustments, and so those that are into data and the science of baseball, which is, I think, most baseball fans.
That's a lot of baseball fans.
Right. Baseball's built around stats. This is a cool movie in that respect.
Oh, yeah. You're totally going to love it if you're somebody who gets into the miles per hour. What are the pitches that they throw on a certain count, those kind of things. You're actually hearing what the pitchers feel when they use their fastball the most. And it's the greats. It's Sandy Koufax. It's all of these incredible players, even more modern, more recent closers in particular. Closers coming in from Goose Gossage, who starts off the film, to Craig Kimbrell, to Aroldis Chapman, this young Cuban kid who's a fireballer, who's going to break the records throwing 105 miles an hour.
Yeah, super awesome movie. Does it appeal to non-baseball fans?
That's the question.
That's sort of the question we come across on these. In my opinion, probably not. You got to be at least somewhat of a baseball fan.
Right.
And it helps to sit through it with another baseball fan and sort of, pause it, bounce off ideas off each other and whatnot. So I liked it, but I don't think, for example, my wife would like it.
Yeah, well, and the thing is, too, we get to watch these together, and we do recommend you watch with somebody else who might take a liking to it. If you're a baseball fan, even a casual baseball fan, that's what we're talking about. You got Torrey Hunter, you got Andrew McCutchen, you've got Derek Jeter, all of these greats. It's narrated by Kevin Costner. Wow. It is enjoyable, even if you're a casual baseball fan, because you're going to see ball players you've heard of, know of, and that part's kind of fun, too. Is it going to reach people who aren't interested in baseball for the drama? Or it doesn't necessarily carry that element, in our opinion. But maybe you watch it and see if it does or not.
Yeah, I think it was a MLB film. Mm-hmm. And, it stays in that lane. There is very little drama, I guess, outside of the who throws the fastball. Mm-hmm. And, that's what it all leads up to. Interesting movie. I liked it a lot.
I think one of the things that stood out to me the most, one of the things I enjoyed about the film the most, was a player that nobody really knows of, but was supposed to be possibly the next great thing, but couldn't control his fastball. And that's worth watching. One of those things to kind of catch in a documentary like this. It's not all the Hall of Famers. There are some of those magical what-if players, because a lot of players have electric arms. The ability to move a fastball and put something out there that hitters have never seen before. And that's something you see in this film, too. I thought that was pretty cool. Fastball, 2016 documentary, available on Amazon Prime. We'll make sure we include a link for that in the description. Check it out. I think it's worth it, especially if you're a baseball fan.
Yeah, it's really well done. Great pictures and video from, present or 2016 on back. Including footage of Koufax they found in somebody's closet.
Good call, right?
And that is really cool.
They put some cool stuff together. This one, it might be worth a spin. Give it a shot. Remember, at Baseballmapper, we're going to keep reviewing movies, trying to find some different baseball films for you to watch, and hopefully you'll like them. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, at Baseballmapper, and we'll check out another film next time and let you know what we think. Until then.